Oh.
Hello.
Are you ready
to weave within
the wind?
Cheers! Hello?
It's not just our disembodied voices anymore. You get to see our corporeal forms.
Hi. So, we're going to try incorporating video into our podcast now.
It just makes sense now that we're in the same region, vicinity, and town.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense. And we're going to catch you up on what we've been doing for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
It's going to be silly.
Okay, hang on. It's been 6 months.
So June, July, August, September, October. So like
almost.
I feel like we record in April?
Yeah.
So then it's been 6 months.
Yeah.
And the reason why I know that is because from April to October is 6 months, because April is always my half birthday. That's the marker.
Half birthdays.
Birthday. So it's been equinox to equinox.
I hate it. It's been so long.
It's been a long time, but we have so much to talk about, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Wholesome haunts.
Lots of updates.
Some fuckery.
Yeah. Moving across the country.
With a cat and a dog.
Oh my God. Never again. Yeah. And we're going to start trying to do video. So
we're not trying, we're doing.
Well, we're doing it. We're doing it.
Luna created this beautiful office studio in her second home since she's been in BC. So that's how much things have been moving.
Yeah.
And so it's we're not wasting this lighting.
No, it's cute.
It's so cute.
It's our colors.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple, or if you're watching it on YouTube. We're going to be throwing these up on YouTube. So let us know what you prefer. I'm still going to do what I want.
I was just going to say, or don't, because we're just going to do it anyway. But we do like to hear what community members and our Fridays, how they are consuming our media and what we're doing. So yes, I reiterate that. But we will still do whatever we want.
Yeah. Okay, so
May started out wild. So in April, I got the keys for Poopy House.
Yeah, that's what we're calling my first house here.
Poopy House. And it was a beautiful little house. Super cute. And it had rosemary by the bushel.
And lavender.
It had a peace lily.
Whoever lived there had to have been a witch, or at least they didn't know they were, but they were,
Rose garden on the side, mint, like the apple mint.
There was yarrow. Remember we found yarrow?
Yarrow was growing wild, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it was planted.
Okay.
But it was by the grapevines, so we got some really great offerings for some of the deities that we work with, because the grapevines were just starting to produce fruit when they got the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
So I prepared the house as best I could.
You did such a good job. You did.
But as soon as Luna got there, I was like, she hates it. And when you just know. But we talked about it a lot, how it wasn't my fault. It was meant to happen this way, because we got a full harvest of things from Poopy House Yard.
Garden, yeah.
And that's been going into a lot of our, well, I don't know about you, but like a lot of our like practice as like witches. Like I use the lavender almost every day.
Yeah.
Like, it was a
The rosemary.
great harvest.
Yeah.
So for that, I'm super grateful, and for it being able to get you here.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing else.
No, there wasn't. There was, when we really started, like, okay, we're ready. Everything is lined up.
Mhm.
We need a place. There was nothing.
Mhm.
Like, it was so just dismal. And the way that I kind of look at it now is Poopy House was like an Airbnb. It was a terrible Airbnb,
That's a good
but it
way
was
to
like
look
an
at it.
Airbnb, because that's how we should have done it, right? One of my ideas in the beginning was we pack up our stuff, we move it here, it goes into storage, we
Yeah.
stay in an Airbnb for like a month or
Yeah.
whatever, and then we look for places while we're here. Like
that
that was
made so much sense.
I know, right? And it's almost like we
You did it anyways. Yeah.
that's how it
It's-
happened.
yeah.
Um,
Only you got to harvest from the yards.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to just raid somebody's garden in an Airbnb.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. Our first landlord here was absolutely awful. I mean, most of them are.
Just check the Google reviews. Yep. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like an actual nightmare from start to finish.
And they made it harder than it had to be.
Oh yeah.
And so we ended up having to like take them to the RTB, which is the residential tenancy branch, and I had like a crash course on BC tenancy laws. And we did
stacks. Like a stack like this of
I still have it. We have to burn it.
Yes, yeah, you have to burn it for sure.
I went into full on like lawyer mode.
Mhm.
Like I'm like, my inner child is like, we're playing lawyer.
Yeah.
We're gonna like do all the things, and I had my desk set up, and I was like printouts and highlighting things.
You have the ADHD on your side because it's like that is your focus, and you need to be good at it. And like I'm getting all the information, and it's categorized, and it's it worked. It did work out.
It did.
It was just a long and unnecessary process. Like you would have been prepared regardless, but it was a lot harder than it needed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's kind of what took us so long to like, that's why our break from the podcast was so long, because that took a lot of my spoons.
Yeah. Because the room that you were going to use for recording was inhabitable. Like you could not be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was no space to even like set up or do any of this. Like, but it worked out because we're here now, and the house that we're in now,
it suits you so
fucking
much.
love it so much.
It is such a Luna and family house. Yeah.
Yeah. So everything worked out for the best.
It did. Yeah. My kid and I came to Ontario to be with you.
Yeah.
And to take your kid home with us.
And that was the first time you've been to Ontario, right?
Since I was little.
Okay, yeah, because you were there when you were really small.
Really small, yeah.
Okay.
And so Port Perry is really is not too far from Peterborough.
No.
Where my mom and my grandparents, well, my mom was born there and my grandparents moved there from, I don't even know. My Nana was born in Manaki. That's all I know. So one of the days we got to go to Peterborough, and it was really funny too because the building that my grandparents owned, the Heritage Building, was also, there was a connection between your family and that building.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that, which is really cool. There was an art, not installation, but an art project and it was called Dear Photograph. And it's when people hold up photos in places where, you know, they love or remember, they have memories. And I wanted to do that with a picture of the studio and how it looks now. And that was really cool because in that one block, like that was like my mom's like whole life. It was the studio downstairs where my grandpa would take pictures, the upstairs apartments where my mom lived, and the high school across the street where she went to school, and then the church right across the street where she got married. So it was like this, like,
Yeah.
it was a very full circle moment for me. And it was really nice to be able to see it and see it with you. And it was just, yeah. So that was super special. And going to see the, I always forget what it's called. The Wutai Shan garden.
Oh yeah.
That was so cool.
The Buddhist temple.
The Buddhist temple.
Yeah.
All the effigies were so massive. And
I think that's just north of Peterborough.
Yeah, because we went to see it before we went to Peterborough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, the trip was fun. I loved being with you and seeing where where you did everything. And
yeah, because I lived in Peterborough for a little while, for like a year
right
or two.
Yeah,
I lived there as well. And it's funny because I used to walk past where your grandpa's photography studio was all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime we would be going downtown or like over that way.
Yeah.
Like I lived like, I don't know, a 15-minute walk away from there.
Yeah.
So it was cool to kind of show you where like we saw that, and like, and then I lived over here. And yeah.
And then we went to the locks.
The lift locks.
The lift locks. That was so fun.
They're supposed to be really haunted.
Mm-hmm.
We did try to do some Estes method exploration there, but it was the middle of the day, like it was mid-afternoon, and it was really busy, so it was
I feel like we did get some interesting things, but
yeah,
like I think they said our names a couple times.
I think so.
But nothing super poignant.
Yeah.
It was mostly just really cool to see like the architecture of it and the flowing of the like the river and stuff was really interesting.
Yeah.
And then we did Ghost Road, which was really cool.
I really enjoyed getting to take you to there, because that's one of our earlier podcast episodes.
Yeah.
I told you about Ghost Road, and so it was fun to get to take you to see that.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Another full circle moment.
It was weird too. And then we got your partner to kind of narrate the story a little bit, which was really nice. I loved having that sound bite. Yeah. And we haunted ramen.
Yeah.
And stuck it in mugwort during a thunderstorm. And we flew home.
Yeah.
May was pretty intense.
It was a very intense weekend, because it was like you came, we did some packing, and then we had that day where we went out to Peterborough, and that day was like really busy. And like we tried to sightsee as much as we could.
We were gonna go see the petroglyphs.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that they closed.
Right.
Because it was a Sunday. I'm really bummed about that, because I've never seen them before either, and I really wanted to do that with you. So maybe one day we can do that. And then we came back, and it was like pack. the movers came and like helped us pack the like moving crates, and then we took you guys to the airport,
Yeah.
and then the next day we got
Left.
into a car and started our journey.
Yeah. Across the country.
Yeah. It took us 5 days total to get across, and it took us 2 days alone just to get out of Ontario. That was
Mhm.
wild. I knew that Ontario's like really big, like north to south,
Yeah.
and I knew it was going to take a while, but I didn't realize like just how like it took us 2 days to get out of Ontario, and then only 1 day to get through, like half a day actually, to get through Manitoba.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is wild.
Yeah.
Like, so that was really interesting. The scenery was beautiful. There in Northern Ontario, there's some like weird like areas. I forget exactly where it was, but there's they had these radiation signs, like it was all and it was all, there was all this stuff
Ominous.
about radiation, and the land, the trees, the forest, it just felt off. And I remember saying to Joe, like, it feels like something that's just been taken from and taken from and taken from, and has nothing. It's like devoid of.
It's extraction.
Yeah. So that was weird. Like
Sad.
that was a, weird experience. It was very sad. And then we got through Manitoba. Manitoba wasn't too exciting. Saskatchewan was just flat. I actually saw tumbleweeds for the first time just going along the side of the road. That was hilarious. And then when we got to northern BC and started driving down through the mountain, it was like Joe and I were both just like, wow, the whole time. It was so beautiful.
That makes me a little emotional, honestly, because the mountains are something that's so precious to the landscape here.
Yeah.
And that those like awe-inspiring moments, and knowing that you're going home would have been very, very emotional.
I mean, I still have some people say like I don't even notice the mountains anymore. I've heard people say that, and I'm like, how can you not? Every day I'm looking at them like, wow, look at how they look today.
I think it's that like that capitalism doesn't allow us for those awe-inspiring moments, or to be awe-inspired by things. So I think it comes from a very animistic approach to wonder and curiosity, and a value of nature itself. Because I've lived here my whole life, and every single time I see the mountains, from no matter where I am, I always notice them, and I always am impressed by them.
Yeah. They're beautiful.
It's how I gauge like how the weather is too, how cloudy it is, how like, is there new snow on the mountains? How is the snow receding up the mountain? It's how you can tell snowfall is coming. It's how you can tell there's a lot to it. And so I feel sorry for those people. R.I.P. to your curiosity.
Yeah, your sense of wonder.
Your sense of wonder, yeah. Get fucking curious.
Get curious, bitch.
Yeah. Not get wrecked. Get wonderment.
I love it.
Me too. Are you writing that down for a new t-shirt? Get wondered.
Get
bewildered.
Get wondered.
What else? So then you arrived. And
I did.
I cried the whole day because it was very hard to stay grounded.
Oh my God.
I was up here the whole day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had white spot for the first time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we all got really sick.
I made you like my favorite meal, and you were like, I'll eat it, I promise.
And I couldn't.
And you couldn't.
That I forgot about that. I won't go into graphic detail, but
No.
literally the first night that we spent here, we all got sick with some kind of like, I don't know,
Tummy bug.
72-hour flu or something. And it was just awful. It's like I started, and then my partner Joe, and then our son, and it just went boom, boom, boom through the three of us. And at one point we were all sick at the same time.
I remember you saying after you guys got better that you were laughing about how the neighbors must have thought you guys were possessed.
Oh my God, yeah. Especially because how I like later realized the neighbor at Poopy House was very nosy.
Oh,
and
my
she
gosh.
would hang around at the side and spy on us, essentially. I caught her looking in the window one day. That was wild. But it's like, it's, mid-May. It's getting warmer. We had the windows open. And we're all like violently throwing up.
Oh,
and
I'm so
stuff.
sorry. You mean the windows that you could open?
Oh yeah, the windows we could open, because half the windows in that house didn't open.
Just in.
But yeah, so that was our start. And then towards the end of May, I got to spend my first birthday here.
Yeah. Yep.
That was so much fun.
We went to Trethewey House.
Mm-hmm. And what's the road you took me to? I forget the name of it. Something road. It's like an old mining road, right?
Yeah.
And it's supposedly very haunted. That place felt very weird. I would like to go there.
Keeping Road. We went. We did a little tour. It's weird because there is like an industrial part to it.
Mm-hmm. So it's like still in use,
it's
right?
Still in use, yeah. And there's also a house at the end.
Oh,
like that, like the driveway that we stopped,
yeah,
and then turned around, and then we were.
So that's someone's house.
That's someone's house, yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, it's somebody's house, and so to be as respectful as you can, I think it's important that you go in the dark for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And because the idea is that you could potentially see the apparition of a dog and a woman in white.
Yeah.
It's always a fucking woman in white.
Yeah. Always.
I mean, in the dark, I guess you wouldn't be able to see anybody if they were in like moss green like we are.
Yeah. Unintentionally matching.
Always.
But yeah, that was really fun. And then Trethewey House was really cool.
Oh, Trethewey House was amazing. And we are going to go again.
Yeah.
Very soon.
And we get to do a little bit of
we get to do a behind the scenes,
a paranormal exploration there. So we're gonna videotape that and record that. Yep.
And what else was May? I think that's it. I think that was it for May.
Yeah.
It was a lot of organization for you.
Yeah.
A lot of collecting data.
Yeah.
Yeah. June was pretty fun.
Yeah.
June 1st, like literally June 1st, we went to Tradish. If you haven't been to Tradish, Ancestors Cafe in Fort Langley, it is in the fort. You should go. They have the best bannock. They have wonderful jams, and they make medicine shots with blackberry and sage.
So good.
And they can put
Bannock tacos.
Bannock
That's what we
tacos.
had.
They have elk, and I get their boar bacon. It is such a treat. It does feel like medicine to your senses. And
I think about that all the time. Like I want to go back there so bad.
I think we should.
Yeah.
It's been enough time.
Yeah.
Like we have to go back. And yeah, I need new bath bombs anyways from them. So
Nice.
yeah, they do a wicked bath bomb.
And that's where you got those mugs. You got the one mug.
Yeah, I got the
and then
the
I got one for Joe.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the Sasquatch.
Yeah. Saskamet.
Yeah.
And then that day we went to get our tattoos.
Oh, yeah,
the
the
Vancouver
tattoo convention.
We saw our friends Mike and Kara from Cunning Folk,
Mm-hmm.
and Mike did a big. I say big, but it's just because she's got like lots of a canvas, and you got
I got a little belladonna sprig.
We saw Brandy from She-Wolf.
Yeah.
And all of her amazing clients. I mean, Mike's clients are really nice too. But, and
that was fun. I've never been to a tattoo convention before.
We saw Rubina from Whisper Jewels.
Oh, her stuff is so amazing.
No, talismanic is what I tell her.
The ones she makes, and they're like stars.
The Herkimer diamonds with the...
Okay, those two. I want
I
one
know.
so bad.
I know.
One will be mine.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yep. And then, there was a couple other people that we saw. Jess from House of Blackart.
Yeah.
And she was fucking slammed though, so we didn't even get to like shout at her like, hey. Yeah, but we saw her. And then what else? Oh, on June 9th, do you know what June 9th was?
What?
John E.L. Tenney perceived us for
the first time.
For the first time, but for a minimum of like 3.5 seconds.
Was that when he came into our spooky phone live?
It was. Yeah.
Oh my god! And we were just ending too, and we were both like,
"Yeah, it was." We were talking
what
about
do
our
we do?
fucking merch. It wasn't even anything cool.
We were just like finishing up and saying bye, and then John Tenney pops in, and we were like, "Oh my god!"
I'm pretty sure I pinched you. And like I took a screenshot. And I was like, that was surreal. That was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Did we do anything for the summer solstice?
Yeah, we did that ritual and we made spray.
That's right.
With a bunch of stuff from the garden.
Mm-hmm. Mugwort, mint. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
For our Patreon Fridays.
Yeah.
And we did a really nice ritual. And that was fun.
Started my cycle on the summer solstice. Felt like a
potent
whole ass witch.
Was it in June? In June is also when I got my crow chess piece from Brandy.
You sure
did. It was shortly after. I don't remember the exact date, but it was like mid-June, or the end of June, I want to say.
I think it was like the 18th.
I had these terrible little scripts on my collarbones, and I hated them so much.
I forgot that was a cover-up.
Yeah, that was a cover. Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah, because she did such a good job.
Exactly.
You can't even tell that they were there. The only, if I really look, because I know that's what was there, then I can see them. But most of the time when I look at it now, it's just like, that's the only thing that's been there.
It's so beautiful.
I've posted pictures of it.
It's on Brandy's She-Wolf
It's
Apothecary,
yes,
too.
and we're gonna leave the show notes is gonna be just a ton of links and shout outs to people that we love.
That we
So
spent the last 6 months with.
exactly. So go check that out. It's Brandy from She Wolf Tattoo, and you can see it on her page. It's 2 crows on my chest, and then there's a cauldron in the middle.
And then we went to Summer Hags.
Oh, did we do the summer hags in June?
Yes, we did, because it was like a solstice thing. And I remember you had your little umbrella because you didn't want to get your chest piece.
I remember now.
Sunburnt. Yeah.
I felt very Beetlejuice in my striped black and white striped bathing suit and my black and white umbrella. That's the vibe I was going for, by the way.
It was, yeah. No, it was July.
Okay, so it was the beginning of July then. It was
the 16th of July is when we had the Summer Hags.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know how I wrote my notes? My camera.
That's so smart, because I wrote my notes by looking at my calendar app.
Well, I did that too.
And I was like, there's a bunch of stuff missing. Mm-hmm. What is happening? We did so many things and they're not in here. Usually I put stuff in there so I don't forget.
Yeah. I have my my albums by month. And so it just groups them. And I was like,
smart.
Oh, hey, there's that screenshot of Johnny L. Tenney. So yeah, June was wonderful. The rest of June for me was just getting ready for the Nightshade Coven market in Ontario. So I went to Ontario twice in
the span of a couple months.
2 months. Yeah. And I will never do that again. Ever. I love you people. You lovely, lovely Ontario people. I mean, my mom is from Ontario. That's why I say, what is it? Oh, there's something that I say that sounds very like.
Oh my God. I
do you remember?
What is it?
If Ryan is listening, he's going to know exactly what it is. Well, I'll
there's a word that you say and it's very Ontarian.
And I asked Ryan one day and I was like, why do I say it differently? And he's like, because your mom's from Peterborough. And I was like, oh. Yeah. So I sound sometimes like I'm an Ontarian. So no offense, but it's a fucking weird place. And
it is.
I don't care for it. I like the West Coast, and it is that this is where I feel at home, and I did not feel at home in Ontario.
Yeah.
And
I totally get that.
Yeah.
It's one of those places where I think it's just a bit too overpopulated. Like all the population is in Southern Ontario. Like everybody just kind of has pooled down in the bottom, and I think it's too overpopulated, and the land is angry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, yes, that place in more northern Ontario that I was talking about, that's different. But I just think like it's just there's just too much.
Too much extraction.
Yeah. And that affects people.
It does. 100% it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like we're going into, it's Scorpio season now. We just hit Scorpio season.
Yeah, yesterday, right?
Yeah. And I was just scrolling and there was a tweet and it said, I'm feeling super sleepy now. And it's because we're going into like the darker months and we're not supposed to be doing maximum output right now. We're supposed to be trying to like, the person was like, it's as if we're fucking animals that are, like supposed to be, synced with nature, and we are constantly fighting it. And it's just, so
it's like taking a nocturnal animal and being like, you are only going to be awake during the day now.
That's it. Yeah.
And that is not psychologically good for that animal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it can't be good for humans, because we're, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Anyways.
So, what, are we into July now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, one of the things that happened in July was I was finally at 40 years old, because I'm now in the 40s club. I was finally able to get tested for ADHD.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I have ADHD.
The results are in.
Raging ADHD.
It's not ragey.
But it's like, it's a double-edged sword, because on one hand, I'm very grateful that I finally can present this to a doctor and say, hey, you need to help me with this now, instead of being dismissed. On the other hand, it did cost money, and that was a privilege that I was able to do. And it is upsetting to me that that is a paywall barrier for a lot of people, because we should be able to access healthcare and not have to pay through the nose for it.
Do you know what that means, though? If you ever win the lottery, you're probably going to add to a fund. You'll call that.
You can get assessed, and you can get assessed.
Well, you can just dump it into that place and and ask for transparency. Like, I want to know how many people you've helped with this money.
Yeah.
And I think that is like, I like 1000% that's what you would do.
Yeah. And it's just another reason why I say self-diagnosis is valid when it comes to these things, because for a lot of people it's not accessible.
Exactly.
And we have the right to
understand ourselves.
Yeah. And to be able to make accommodations in our lives that help us get through them. Like these things, like ADHD and autism and stuff, they are disabilities, right? Like they do make life hard. It's not just like a quirky thing. So yeah, that's my rant on that, I guess. But that happened. What else?
I did our Crescent Beach trip with my mom.
Yeah.
We do Crescent Beach ice cream in White Rock after school lets out. And we took we retook our standard photo that I get my mom and my kid to do every
this
year.
Is like a tradition that you do every year, right?
It's a little tradition, yeah.
It's so sweet.
That's when summer starts for me.
Yeah.
Is when we go to Crescent Beach and we have that ice cream. And what else? We had our barbecue burger night with our friends.
At your house?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I was like, we did what?
What?
Yes, no. I remember now, because we've done a couple of little.
But it was
like,
this was the first time it was my house.
Yeah.
So we had food and we got to hang out and chat, and it was really fun. And
is that the day that
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Literally, go ahead.
Yes. No. Go. Like, I love this. Yeah. We were expecting it, and you checked just randomly after dinner was done, and you were like, "We gotta go to your mailbox."
Yeah.
And yeah, that's on our. It's on our Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our little unboxing.
Our unboxing. Yeah. I use that deck every single day.
I need to use it more.
I love it. It is the best fucking present that you've ever given me. Yeah. And you found a monarch butterfly that had perished on our way back.
Right in front of your house.
Right in front of on the lawn. And I was like, I've been seeing those fucking everywhere. And I like dreamed about one. And you were like, it's yours then. And it still stays, like, it's on my altar right now.
Cute.
I use it in transformation magic. And what else? I went to London, Ontario for the Nightshade Coven market, the Black Moon market.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun, and it was wonderful to travel with Mike and Kara, and Diana met us at the train station. And London is a fucking weird place, though.
It is.
I even wrote to Liminal Earth to get it popped on that map because there were so many weird things. But the market itself was really interesting. I sent you a little video and I was like, look at how fucking weird this place is. I was going to the bathroom and I was like, why does this hallway go on forever and ever and ever and ever?
It was
and you
very
were
back rooms.
it's so back rooms. And you were like, I've fucking been there before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be clear, where we lived, I didn't live anywhere near London, Ontario. So it was like a good 3 hours drive from where I have lived.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, there was they hold an event there called Shock Stock, and it's like a horror convention, horror movies and stuff. And that's usually where they hold it. So that was just another very weird connection between the two of us.
Yep. And it was, we had a wonderful director, Danny. They were the most attentive, fun person that we could have ever asked for to be at this market and helping us with the things that we sometimes didn't foresee. In the middle of the market, though, I walked down the hallway and it was like a maze because there's like a room and then another room and then another room and then it like connects. It like does this like weird loop. And so after I had done that, I then went and got Kara. And I was like, we gotta walk around. Like, we have to walk around. You gotta come with me. So we walked around, and then after that, I asked Danny, like, hey, like, what the fuck is the deal with this place? And Danny said that the architect had very specific plans for this, for the space, because he also made City Hall. I wrote the whole area of the basement we were in was just unhinged. And so I had some psychic tingles coming through, and I wanted to verify them with Danny.
Mm-hmm.
So we were chatting, and I was like, would you want to, after the market's done, would you want to like walk with us and just like have a mini like small investigation? Like, I don't have any equipment or anything, but I'd love to like walk through the rooms that I feel. I have the recording.
Yeah, you sent it to me.
I sent it to you, yeah. And it was super interesting. And so the architect's name is Philip Carter Johnson, and it's Philip that Danny connected with.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just, it was really interesting. I got to see the boiler, which is it was terrifying, and I loved it. I was the only one that actually like went with Danny like down like to it.
Yeah.
It was just, there was a lot of psychic energy, a lot, and it was very, very back rooms. So the story goes that the architect had these plans. As an artist, he believed in the structure of a place being that of beauty and functionality, and he specialized in ecclesiastical buildings. His last major commission appears to be that of the city and Centennial Hall. Centennial Hall is where we were. And one of the quotes that I found from London.ca was, when he suffered a heart attack during the construction of London City Hall, he insisted the ambulance stop by the site on the return home from the hospital to make sure work was being done to his exact standard while he was sick. And Danny supposes that it feels disjointed and disorganized and what do you call it when you get confused? Disorienting.
Yeah.
It feels disorienting because it wasn't the plans that Philip Carter Johnson really wanted.
Okay.
So they deviated from the plans.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a disjointed energy because Philip's pissed. Yeah. And then the mall was really fucking weird when we went to see Longlegs on the Sunday afterwards.
Yeah. It was also very liminal.
Yeah. 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 It was empty, for one. You walk in and there's two. So you walk into the lobby and there's two stores with nothing in them and no store front. Directly in front of you is an escalator going up, but it's like on this weird angle and you can't see anything on the top part. So it's like literally you're going up and you have no idea what you're going up into.
Mm-hmm. Hate that.
Around the corner from the escalator, there are movie posters, but there's no indication of where the movie theater is inside this mall.
Okay.
And we walked past the escalator because we were thinking, well, if the movie posters are down here, the movie theater must be down here.
Yeah.
We all walk past the movie posters, and then these people come out of a hallway, and then they weren't running, but they were walking fairly briskly, and there was nothing down the hall. It was just an open hallway. There was no stores, no nothing. And this is all mall lighting too. Like it's not like it's like dim or anything. It's like
it's that awful fluorescent,
awful stark. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we keep going, and then we hear people, and then we see them, and it's some, like rougher folks, but they were all just kind of like hanging out and like, what the fuck are you doing here kind of thing. We were like, we don't fucking know. And then it opens up to this like weird cafeteria style seating, like a food court, like cafeteria seating, but no functional restaurants or it was so. And then so Kara's like, we're fucking going this way, like it must be upstairs. So we go up the escalator and we go. I think we followed people actually. I think we may have somebody asked, and of course I just want to fucking go and see the weird stuff. So so we go up the escalator and we finally get to where the movie theater is, and it has this odd marquee style light bulbs with like a half circle with the lights, and it's like some are flickering and some aren't, and like it was like, this is where we're fucking gonna die. I don't want to die in Ontario. And then we had to go through another set of escalators to get up to the movie theater. It was so weird. I fucking hated it. And we saw Longlegs, and I wrote in the middle of the darkness, in the back of my Magic of Eye, I had to find like a page that like I couldn't see where I was doing it. So I wrote July 14th, Longlegs. I don't know why I wrote T-Rex, 1971, Liminal Space, and Saturn Films. I know why I wrote Saturn Films.
Yeah.
But
what's T-Rex about?
T-Rex? I have no idea. So that'll probably come up another time, but that's
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then we came back on the 15th, landed, everything was good. I missed you. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I hate when we don't see each other.
I know.
It's fucking so disgusting.
Now that we only live 20 minutes apart, if we don't see each other for like a couple of days, we're like, I miss you.
The 16th, we went, me and the family went to the river, and that's when that beaver swam.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then on the 18th, I believe, is when the summer hags was. Yeah. And you made lavender lemonade, and it was absolutely delish.
So good. That whole day was just so fun. And I wish I didn't have like a freshly healing tattoo, because I wanted to just swim in the river so bad, because you can't do that in Ontario, like in specifically Southern Ontario. You like, even Lake Ontario, they recommend you don't swim in it anymore because of how polluted it is. Right? So in Port Perry, the lake in Port Perry has too much green and blue algae in it, so you can't swim in it anymore.
Right. Yeah.
I used to swim in that lake as a kid, and there was like a whole beachfront and everything, and it was like this whole thing.
That's sad.
And now they have it all blocked off, so they've taken away the beach and put a concrete walkway.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's awful. But you can't do that in bodies of water. And most of the creeks are like, if your dog drinks too much creek water, your dog gets sick and is like, it's a whole thing. It's the waters are so polluted there. So being able to just walk into a river, and not a care in the world.
We're really lucky here. We really are. We have to make sure that we keep fighting for that.
Yep.
Making sure that the waterways and that it's protected, and making sure that we're amplifying the right causes to make sure that there's so many reserves still with drinking water advisories. And so just make sure that we keep it that way, because we don't want it to end up like Ontario. We want to be able to see beavers in their natural habitats, and it matters a lot.
It does. We
got to fight for it. And all of our Fridays were so amazing that day. Everybody brought snacks. It was a Patreon
it was because we just wanted to test the waters of it, and literally. And so it was just a small thing, but it was amazing.
It was so fun.
I want to do it again. I want to have summer hags, autumn hags, winter hags, and spring hags, and that is a thing. And we just do a little gathering, a seasonal gathering every turn of the season. I
love it. Doing it.
We're doing it.
Doing it. We went to the Esoteric market.
We did, and that was really fun.
It was hosted by Ghostly Tours Vancouver. Those folks. Lydia, shout out.
We got to meet them, and then we got to meet and talk to the wonderful Sisters of Haunted History BC. Victoria and Gina.
They were so sweet to us. And they invited us to the Overlynn mansion. And that was so cool. We that day actually we saw one of our other friends of the pod and their little one, and we hung out and had breakfast at my place. Remember?
Oh yes. Yeah.
So that whole week was so fun. The Esoteric market, though, you had a really interesting experience.
We rescued a crow. I couldn't leave it there. It was this poor thing.
We called Stephanie and it was interesting timing too, because Stephanie said that she was sleeping, but that she had dreamed that she was getting a phone call, and that like woke her up. And then I called, and she was, so she was like, I guess I was supposed to answer. And we were like, do you know any rescue places in the Vancouver area? Because this crow is being severely bullied, and
it couldn't fly.
It couldn't fly.
Something was wrong with its wing, and it was only just hopping around
the whole day.
I was like, we were at this market, and I had one eye keeping tabs on it all day long. I was watching it, and it would go, there was this little restaurant, and they had a bowl of water out for people's dogs, and this little crow was like just begging for scraps from people sitting on the restaurant patio, and then it would hop over to the bowl and have a drink, and then it would go pick scraps. And
we had dinner, and I went to the bathroom, and all of a sudden Luna's outside, and Ryan's like, that bird is definitely coming home.
It had hopped onto the side of the bowl to get a drink, and it fell, and it was on its back, and it was like, struggling. It couldn't get up, and it, like, I went outside. I was like, oh no. And I went outside, and I gently flipped it over. It was so sad. It had kind of just like resigned at that point. It was just like, okay, I'm just
I live here now.
I guess this is my life now. And so I gently flipped it over, and it was like, and kind of just hopped away. And I was like, we can't leave it. It can't fly. It can't. So we called Stephanie, who's a falconer, and she does like bird rescue and rehabilitation as her job. And so we asked her for advice, and she said, well, I mean, if you call animal control, they're just going to kill it. And I was like, no, that is not happening. So we
dumped out my admin bin and took our one of our tablecloths, and Ryan tried to get it. And if you've ever been to the Roundhouse, you'll know that there's this big amphitheater, like
it's like
arm.
A big metal
like a
arm.
big arm that distributes the amphitheater like tent, and it used to be where the railroad tracks are. So it's all kind of like fenced off, but you can like easily get in there. And Ryan's like, you can't go in there. And I was like, watch my long legs do it. And so I was trying to be really, because Luna ended up naming it Omen. So Ryan tried to get Omen with the tablecloth, and Omen, the wind got the tablecloth before the tablecloth could get Omen. So Omen ended up hopping from the patio portion of the Roundhouse into the fenced off area on top of like the cylinder that held the arm. So, and it's like round. So Omen's just like walking around. And so I'm like trying so hard to like be gentle about it. And I tried to get her, and then she fell off into like these like weird bushes. And so Ryan ended up getting her with the tablecloth, and we put her in the admin Tupperware bin, and we
brought her back here. And then we took her to Steph, and Steph did a little check. Like her wing was all, it looked like it had been broken or damaged at some point and when she was very young, and it never healed right. So it had no muscle tissue or anything, and it was just
it was very very not malformed, but very, what do you call it when something doesn't grow properly?
Yeah. It just
not a regular growth rate for the age that she was.
So
she gave her a bath. She
gave her a bath. That's when we found out that she was most likely a girl. And so I kind of had her at my house,
Poopy house,
for a bit, and all I did was I fed her. She was underweight because obviously she wasn't getting food properly, and and like crows can do.
Yeah.
So she was underweight, and I just fed her, fattened her up a little bit, and then I let her out into the backyard and just kind of watched her from afar.
Mhm.
And eventually she just went and
Wandered off. Yeah.
And I hope for the best. I think about her all the time still, and I hope she's living her best little crow life.
Sometimes you think you see her. So
yeah.
I think
So sometimes I think I see her around. It's hard to tell though,
Mhm.
for sure. But yeah, I think she's out there, and I mean, here she had a better chance.
She did, yeah.
At like being able to forage and stuff.
Yeah,
than
and
in Vancouver.
Yeah, you gave her the opportunity to like explore on her own.
Yeah.
And then, and then go and be a wild animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, part of me wanted to just keep her forever. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I have a pet crow now. This is so cool. But at the same time, responsibly,
Yeah.
she's a wild animal, and I needed to respect that.
Mhm.
So I tried to give her a better chance by making sure she got some food in
Yeah.
her, because she was very underweight.
Yeah.
And then saying, hey, you go and try to live your best little crow life.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love birds.
As they're squeaking in the background.
But yeah, that whole experience did prompt me to adopt a couple of birdies of our own. So
Mhm.
now we added birds to
Little parrotlets.
They're so cute.
Yeah.
They're actually in this room. They're behaving very well.
So good. They're preening each other and being all sweet and cozy.
Their names are Gizmo and Beatrice, and they're just the cutest little parrotlets. I've shared them.
Yeah.
On
our
somewhere.
Haunting Fixations. You're the first Haunting Fixation.
Yeah.
the Haunting Fixation it's free, just so you know.
Mhm.
It's free. We're going to talk about it again at the end, but this is a nice little segue.
Yeah.
So it's free in our free tier on Patreon. So if you want to see what our Haunting Fixations are, what we're like hyper focused on.
Yeah.
For that month, Luna, if you just want to sign up just for Luna's, you should, because this one, like, I think about that picture of Gizmo like at least once a week, and it makes me laugh every single time, because she caught him on camera, like, I don't know,
he was
yawning, and it looks like he's like, ah. It looks like he's absolutely deranged.
It looks like he's yelling.
Like
his head's like this, and he's like, ah. It's so funny.
But they have definitely brought a sense of joy to your life that you deserve. So
yeah,
it's really special seeing how you bonded with both of them. Yeah,
they're so sweet.
They're really cute. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're into August.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
This is when we moved again. This is around the time that we moved again.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really nice because some friends of ours came out and helped.
Mm-hmm.
Momo Gray and her partner came out and helped us move, and that was really amazing. And we got it done in a day, and then we were moved in here. And
then you finally got the U-Haul boxes delivered, so you could actually unpack your actual life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still unpacking my actual life.
But it's nice to know it's all in one place.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
I had a lot of swim meets in August. It's just a blur of sunscreen and hotness.
It was hot.
It was
Yeah.
disgusting.
I did not enjoy that.
Yeah. We did have the Vancouver Pagan Awareness Day.
Mm-hmm.
Where
that was our first in-person speaking
Yeah.
event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah.
Yes.
Since you moved.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we did an event, like, it wasn't our first in-person event, but where it was just like us speaking about what we do.
I see what you mean.
And not focused on like exploration.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. It was really fun. It was wonderful to connect to the folks who wanted to be there and enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of great feedback, and yeah, we can't wait to do more of those.
We had some like our little space, because we were like under this tent, and it was full. Like there were like a lot of people came over and sat with us for it. And we had some really great interaction and questions.
So many good questions. Yeah.
I really loved it. I really, really loved it. And I mean, I don't consider myself an expert in paranormal exploration, but I do love to geek out about talking about it. And that's what it was like. It didn't feel like, we're these experts and we're telling everybody how things are. It just felt like just sharing our passion with people who might also be passionate about paranormal or curious, at least.
Curious, yeah.
And I really loved that.
Me too. Yeah. Yes, this more, please.
Yep.
What else?
That's all I had for August.
We harvested a lot from the poopy place.
We did, because we knew we were going to be leaving.
Yes, so
there.
we did a last harvest, which is like perfect because August is like that kind of like last harvest.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that baby's breath is heavily colonized, and you shouldn't have it for your aesthetic altar moment anymore.
Your floral arrangements.
Ask your florists and things like friends and comrades to decolonize their approach to that, because it is heavily colonized, but it's also in they grow a lot of it in Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
And it is in occupied land.
Yeah.
Like oppressive land. So just if you need more information, I'm happy to share that in the notes, and just have a look. I can't remember there is a specific gardening kind of like seed manufacturer who is attached to Israel. So I can't remember what it's called now, but it is a specific seed manufacturer that has that produces the seeds in for baby's breath. And so just be ready to decolonize everything is, I guess, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because there even is something as innocuous as baby's breath that is in almost every flower arrangement in grocery stores and things like that. So we went to Steph's and Mama C's, and we had a great soak under the hibiscus.
I still think about their hot tub all the time.
It's salt. It's a salt tub, so you feel
my
like,
skin was so
soft. I know.
I was like, I don't remember the last time my feet have been this soft. Clearly, I am not living.
I did an interesting egg cleanse, and it prompted me to do like a major energetic cleanse, which felt super, super good. I received my pre-order for Incantations Embodied by Kimberly Rodriguez, and I worked on new graphics and concepts for the Cauldron of Seasonal Alchemy, and I harvested the mugwort that grew back that the day before we flew out to your house. your Ontario place.
Yeah.
It was, I think that was one of the first things I said to you was like, guess what happened yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that was my harvested the mugwort that grew back from being brutalized in May. That's my last thing for August. Yeah. And then we're on to September. The burrs.
The burrs. The beginning, we were a part of a really cool market called the Mortuary Market, the Vancouver Police Museum.
Before that, though, we had our spooky phone at the Heron Reserve, and that was really fun.
When we were like, let's do something different, and we went and did it outside. And I had to get over my fear of heights a little bit to be on this big weird tower.
It was a lookout.
Yeah. But it was like metal grate, so you just look down and you're like, oh my god.
I did not think that through because we did not have the right equipment for our butts, and it was a little uncomfortable,
pokey.
Yeah. And I ended up being like, Luna, like, we need to stop it. Like, my ankles are like being so, like bitten. But it was an interesting experience. It was really fun.
It was. Yeah. It felt very like, you're up on the lookout tower and you're trying to talk to aliens and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm here for it. Let's go.
We should try to do it at nighttime, like nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will they close early?
Okay, but it's a walking path. We just have to park.
We just have to be quiet.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Okay, I'm down. So we did that, and then we did the market. That was really cool.
The mortuary market.
The mortuary market was really cool. That place has a lot of like interesting stuff in there.
From start to finish, the director was a joy to work with.
Oh, absolutely precious.
Yeah. And she was very focused on being a good caretaker for the building as well as the items in the building.
Yeah.
And okay, so the mortuary market was at the Vancouver Police Museum and Archives. And I received a message, and she goes, but we're not affiliated with the Vancouver Police Department. And I was like, that's with a grain of salt, because it is attached a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, it's right next door. But I appreciate
you're preserving their history.
Preserving their history, but also preserving the way that it was used before. Like, there's a lot of like scientific developments that happened in that space because it was the mortuary, right? It was the coroner's office.
Yeah.
And there's so much history. And before we even got to the market, I'd exchanged probably like 2 or 3 really great emails with her, and she was like, I just want to be a great caretaker for this space. And we got to do we went there the night before to set up, and we got like a little behind the scenes. And she knocked on every door, and I asked, like, is that protocol or is that your protocol? And she was like, it's my protocol. And I adored that, because like, you don't have to worry about being a good caretaker. Like, that is you being a good caretaker.
Yeah.
Like, that is wonderful. And yeah, there was some like icky energy, only because there was, a lot of death. Yeah. And a lot of oppression that goes on or had gone on there. But there's also a lot of like, there's like glimmers of like hope, because there's been a couple cases that they've actually solved in the 20th century.
Yeah, like
and
cold cases.
Cold cases that they've solved because the archives were so well handled.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
It was really good. Like the market was really good, and the tour that we got, the caretaker, just the way that she respected the building, not just the potential spirits that might reside there, but the building itself. Like it felt very, animistic, the
Mm-hmm.
way that
Yeah.
she respected the space and took care of the space. I really liked that.
Me too.
It was very lovely. And then after the Haunted History BC sisters, Victoria and Gina did a little campfire stories, and they set up the room. They had a fake campfire. They had projection sky, night sky and there was like sound effects and stuff. It was very well, like it was set up so nicely.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
And they just told some various ghost stories, especially like local ones. So that was fun. Not all of the stories were my jam personally, but there were some good ones in there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and there was an impromptu story from the fellow from Paranormal Roadtrippers, which was very interesting. So if you're not following them, follow them. They do a lot of really great collaborations, and the specific story that he spoke about had to do with a Sasquatch, and it is in a documentary.
Yeah.
To be released.
Was it not? Is it on Vancouver Island? That plane crash?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where the location of that was, and I don't think it's released yet, but it's coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
So yeah, follow them to stay up to date on that. We'll leave all of the links.
Yes.
But it's been really nice getting to know other local paranormal people. I've really been enjoying that, and just kind of connecting with different people and
I had
making friends.
I had a great conversation with the fellow from Paranormal Roadtrippers about the difference between a haunting and just sensing a psychometric, like psychometry.
Yeah.
And because he has a helmet from World War One.
I don't remember.
World War II. It's
one of them.
It's the really bad one.
Oh, World War II?
Okay. So, and because people recognize the helmet, they automatically think it's haunted. And just because you can feel energy from something doesn't mean it's haunted. It just means that you can feel the energy from it.
Yeah.
And so I will reiterate, psychometry does not mean haunting. Just pat yourself on the back that you can pick up psychic senses and then move on or write about it or something.
Yeah. But you don't need to insert a narrative that it belongs to, a Nazi colonel or blah blah blah. Like,
yeah. There's no need to fucking goose step your way around the haunted. Everything is haunting enough. We don't need to fucking do that. Yeah. Let's not.
Also in September, you had almost every weekend you were teaching.
Yeah.
And we got to go to Ravensvale a bunch of Saturdays.
3 Saturdays in a row.
3 Saturdays in September we were at Ravensvale. And
the last Saturday.
Oh, so good. Okay, so
can you start with your dream?
Yes.
Okay.
So the two of the classes that Amanda was teaching were sigil craft.
Yeah.
Well, they all were, right?
were
There
all
was the
sigil
beginner
craft.
and then the
Intro and then intermediate.
intermediate.
Two intermediate, because if intermediate was
It's
one
split.
class, it would be 12
My brain
hours.
would explode.
Yeah.
So we had it was the last class of, it was part 2 of intermediate. And the night before, so the Friday night, well, I guess Thursday night, Friday morning would be the timeline, because like,
Wasn't it like the direct day?
no.
Oh, it wasn't. Okay,
No.
so it was Thursday into Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had a dream, and in my dream, I'm going to try to describe this for people who may not be familiar with what Ravensvale looks like on the inside. So when you go into the shop, there's the main front room where the main part of the shop is, and then there's curtains at the one side, and it leads into like a back room, and that's where workshops and classes and tarot readings and stuff are held. So in my dream, I was in the shop, and I was standing right where the curtains are going into the back room. And I'm looking back into the room, and at the other side of the room, there's these stairs that are kind of tucked away. They're hidden from where I was standing. And they go up into this little attic space. And I'm looking into the room, and I see from the bottom stairs these 2 child feet, little feet come out, and they have blue leather shoes on, and then like white socks pulled up, and all I see is just these 2 feet. And as I'm looking, I see around the other stair, the rest of this child comes into view, and I see this little head poke out from under the stairs, almost as if, like, if this is the stair, the feet are coming out from the bottom, and the top half is wrapped around and coming out, because there's no backing on these stairs, right? So it's like they're wrapped around the bottom stair.
The way I visualized it when you were telling me was like a kid like leaning over a desk.
Yeah, like they're kind of like contorting themselves through. Very playful like. And so this little boy's head comes into view, and he has short dark brown hair, and I think he was wearing like a white shirt or something. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, in my dream brain, I'm like, oh, that's a ghost, but I'm seeing them very clearly. Like they're like not see-through, like it's very, that's solid, a person there. Yeah. And I was like, this is weird. And then I remember thinking, I should be scared, like, but I'm not. I don't feel scared. And then I remember it, like, telepathically, the little boy told me his name was Eric. And that's all I remember from that part of the dream. And there was another part of the dream where there was another more shadow-like spirit residing within the shop. And it had more of like a gruff energy, not mean or negative, just grumpy. Or just grumpy, right? Like it wasn't as pleasant. Not scary, but not pleasant. And they were more like a shadow figure. They weren't like no detail or nothing. So anyways, I wake up. And I immediately message Amanda, and I'm like, listen to this dream I just had. This is so wild. Blah, blah, blah.
Potty.
And then I also tell Kara, who's one of the owners of Ravensvale. And I'm like, because she had mentioned there seems to be an entity or spirit that kind of resides on the stairs of these attic stairs. And that it likes to hang out on the stairs and watch when there's events happening in the back room, and just kind of hangs out and watches. And I'm like, tell me more about this spirit. Like, do you get any details? And I'm like, this is my dream. this is what I saw. I even Googled the shoes and tried to find it like
Similar.
as close to what I could. And I was like, they look like this, but they're this color. And so we asked if we could do an Estes method session there. And since we were going there on the Saturday, we thought, why not do spooky phone from there? And then I wanted to bring Eric, the little boy, like an offering of some kind. And I was like, well, what better offering for a childlike spirit than some kind of toy?
I remember this part because you mentioned it in the voice memo,
Mm-hmm.
and I stopped it. I stopped the voice memo to send you a voice memo, and I was like, "A yo-yo! It has to. You have to. Yes, Lego's cool too, but you have to do a yo-yo."
Yeah.
And I was like, "See if Joe will let you take the Heathen Moon one," which is really relevant to the story. Just.
So, I wanted to bring Lego, and I decided I'll bring a yo-yo too. So I asked my partner Joe if they had any extra yo-yos, because they had the one that you guys gave,
And they said no.
And they were like, no, that's my favorite. But they did give me like a little metal one. So it was like silver and red.
It's very cool looking.
Yeah.
For a kid, I feel like would be really cool.
And then I stopped to get, because you know how you can get little Lego minifigures on their own. They come in little blind packs, and you can get those. So I was like, I'll get one.
Everybody loves a surprise pack.
Yeah. And I went to go grab one, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get two because it's a surprise. What if I only get one, what if it's a dud? And what if it's just, a crappy one, and I don't want to give it to Eric, and then I'll be disappointed. So I was like, I'll get two, because if I get two, one of them will have, like logic says, one of them will have to be good. So I grabbed two, and we get out to the car, and I'm opening them, and I open the first one, and it's this cute little detective
Inspector
man
with a little...
He's got a hat, he's got a little magnifying glass, and a fish for some reason.
It's a red herring. Ryan,
oh,
yeah.
Okay. Did not even...
I forgot to tell you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I forgot to tell you. Yeah, it's a...
Okay, that makes more sense now.
It's so funny.
Weird. I love it. So I open it, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. And then I open the second one, and it's the exact same. And
almost like you were supposed to have a little link.
I literally, in the little box that they come in, I went, you and you, right? So I didn't just like pick two beside I picked them very at random, so I thought. But they were the same. So now I have one, and Eric at Ravensvale has one, and it's our little link.
Yeah.
And then we did spooky phone there.
Mm-hmm.
And we did an Estes method session.
Yeah. And
that was wild.
Yes, it was extremely wild. Tammy, who works at Ravensvale, her and her partner Cal stayed and hung out with us, and it was really cool to have them there because there was verifiable information at the ready.
Yeah.
Because Tammy has had a couple experiences, and she has a lot of like psychic mediumship ability. So she told us and verified a couple things that were talked about when Luna was in the channel. We forgot one thing in July.
What?
Remember when I bought the Feminine Macabre Volume 3?
Yep.
So we bought books from
Haunted History
BC. I normally wouldn't buy the third volume of something. I would start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Volume 1, 2, and then 3. But for some reason, I chose 3. The first page that I flipped to when we got back to our Heathen Moon booth was talking about operators and receivers.
Yes. Within the Estes method,
Within
right?
the Estes method.
Yeah.
It was a really cool article, which we will link in our show notes.
Yeah.
It was a really great piece about how electronic voice phenomenon in the Estes method is, it has like a tie into the artistic art form of like expression with your voice and with using your body as a channel to receive information.
Which is essentially what the Estes method is.
100%. But the first thing that I read was, pardon me, the operator. And I think I hit you with the book.
Yeah.
And
Look!
I went, look at this. And we read it. And because the operator has come up so many times in Spooky Phone and Estes Method sessions since the beginning.
Yeah.
And
we were trying to figure out what does this mean?
So because we were separated by distance, we figured that we got this revolving door energy of spirits and interactions because it is like a lot of space to fill up with that energy.
Yeah.
So we often would have this revolving door energy of like one person says something, one element says something, and then it's like there was parts where the communication would be longer, but a lot of the time it would be one and then another and then another. And when the operator first came up, we thought that it was somebody in the unseen realm directing these spirits or this energy, like it's your turn at the podium, it's your turn at the microphone, it's your turn then.
We would even get some things coming through that would be like, okay, next, like
yes,
literally
yes.
Sometimes I would say stuff like that.
Yes, exactly.
So we were like, oh, okay, so there's something that's acting as an operator, like a switchboard operator.
Exactly. Our friend of the pod, Jillian, mentioned the switchboard, like that she saw the switch, like the act, like unplugging here, plugging here, unplugging here, plugging here. Yeah. But every single time I would ask specifically,
it would go quiet.
Who is the operator? And let me tell you, it's because I'm the operator. The person asking the questions is the operator. It only took 2 fucking years to figure that out.
Well, because first we thought something in the unseen is doing it. And then we thought maybe it's me.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And we were like, maybe I'm the one because I'm the one who's acting as the channel. But when you think about it, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Because I'm the receiver. I'm the receiver. I'm like the channel, the receiver. I'm receiving the information and spitting it out. And so it doesn't make sense that I would be the operator in all of this. But you are the operator.
But it just goes to show that you do have to be together with somebody to be able to find the information. Because, I mean, I've been looking at those volumes for how long? I could have bought them at any time, but I chose when we were together. It was at the Haunted History BC booth. Yeah. And so it just, the timing is always so interesting to me. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So sorry.
That's okay. It was so good. So circle back around.
Yes.
We're at Ravensville.
Tammy is there to verify some information. And not only did we get some verifiable information about the larger grumpy entity, but we did get some really cool Eric energy.
Yeah, I think we did. Nothing as like completely direct where, you know, in some cases we ask a question, we're like yes or no question, and it's yes or no. Like it's very undeniably, okay, that was definitely a response.
Yeah.
This is a little bit more ambiguous. I felt like
it was like a child was answering a question that it didn't know the answer to.
Yeah. And this is why I believe when you're doing these things, it's never a one and done.
No.
It's always better when you
build relationship.
Like, it's like if you are conducting an experiment, you wouldn't just do that experiment one time and be like, well, those are the results.
No.
You do it over and over again until you're like, okay, I'm starting to see patterns here. So I really can't wait to go back and try to connect more and see what comes through. And so we can just keep compiling these patterns and the,
just like
these
we did
layers.
With the Pleiades.
Exactly.
Not starseed, fuck that.
No, yuck. But so we definitely had the grumpy spirit come through,
but we found out that it's more of like, it is a protector.
It's a protector of the space.
1000% a protector.
And
we gave Tammy some really interesting clarity on how she can like approach the energy, because like just like announcing like, hey, I'm in the back here, then you flick on the light,
which is interesting because it's almost as if, and I'm not saying that we didn't do things like this ourselves, but it just aligned because of, so going to the mortuary market and seeing the caretaker of that space announce herself, I feel ties into the advice we gave Tammy, like, hey, this person, like, we just, this is in our brains. Why don't you try this? And then she gave us feedback recently. It was like, it's working great.
Yeah.
So anyways, there was some things that happened a few days at Ravensvale, a few days before we were there. We had no idea about them.
No.
Are we allowed to talk about this?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I'm
not sure. So, but I mean, we can be a little bit vague about it.
Yeah, I will be.
Yeah.
So there's some things that happened at the store a few days before we were there. We had no idea that this had happened. We are doing the Estes method session. These things are coming through. Like, the spirits were telling us
about them,
like, very distinctly.
Yeah.
And Tammy and Cal are like
looking at each other like, holy shit. Yeah.
And then we finish and they're like, oh my gosh, this happened.
Yeah.
That's all connected to this specific thing.
And Tammy knew that it was directed at her because of something that you said about, like, I think it had something to do with a mermaid. Oh, her hair.
Yeah.
So
because she had just got her hair done.
Gotten her hair done, and a bunch of people had said, oh my god, it's very like mermaid-esque.
Yeah.
So that was a signal to her that the spirits or the energy of the shop is listening and paying attention, and like they know how people are connecting with you, and this is how they're distinguishing that this is directed at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love when that happens.
Me too.
I do. So I want to go back and I want to do more.
Forever, yes. Such a cool area.
So now, this is also around the time where I'm finally settled.
Yeah.
In our house, and I'm like, okay, we gotta get back to the podcast. So we start preparing, and we're starting to think about our return. And I think this is around the time where we decided, it makes sense that we do seasons.
Yeah.
We set this up into seasons. So
you're listening to season 2, episode 1.
Yeah. And now we're into October.
Yeah. Well, there's like 2 more things.
Oh, okay.
September.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I did the unearthing of the arch in my blackberry bramble.
Oh, that looks so
and
good.
Was gifted a nest and a little robin's egg, an empty robin's egg. And the day after the mortuary market, I found a pumpkin flower.
Oh, yeah.
And I have 2 pumpkins growing right now.
2?
And they're both different.
Oh,
I know.
cute.
One of them looks like one of the ones that, like, the flat ones that you find at the, like, mini ones.
Yeah.
From grocery stores. And then one is more round, and it looks like a watermelon right now. It's so cool because it's all green and like dark green stripey. Anyways,
cute.
And then we did Mudang, the baby hippo. Obsessed with her and her sibling. Steph came over for Spooky Phone, and it was a wonderful session. And she unveiled our collection. Because when Luna came the first time for my birthday in 2022.
Yep.
2
years ago.
Yeah. 2022, Steph made these really beautiful gift bags called Go Cleanse Yourself. And it had a candle, bath salts, and an oil.
No,
spray.
It had a spray and an oil. And bath salts. And a little candle. It was so good.
Yeah. And we did like we did an in-person thing, and it was so special. And we asked Steph if she would be interested in collaborating again, because we just needed a level up with that.
Yeah.
And she did not disappoint.
Oh my God, no.
These items are so special, and they are so witchy and so tailored to our magical and metaphysical and witchcraft practice that it feels so good. And there's a beginning, middle, and an end. And I love when things like bookend like that. It just feels so... it's just optimal energy. So she brought that over, and we got to smell everything. And it was a big hit at the Hunter's Moon Market, the Nightshade Coven Market that just happened. So we had a great Estes Method session with Steph in September. And then we did...
And you can see though, like those, we have a video posted on our Instagram. Yeah. If you want to like see what she created.
And then we did our postcard spell for the autumn equinox, which was super cute.
Yeah.
And then I did the Twilight Drive-In. I did the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was the last weekend that the Twilight Drive-In was operating, so we had to go for one of my kids' birthdays. And that's September for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we're into
October.
We're like in the middle of October. We have like a week left of October.
Yeah. It's not done yet.
No.
I got to see the Aurora Borealis for the first time with my own eyes.
Pretty.
So that was really cool. I had never seen it before. And there were times back in Ontario where it was like supposed to be visible, whatever.
Right.
And I would try to go see it, and I was never able to.
Right.
And on a whim, I just you had shared something with our Discord about it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's happening. And I went to my partner and I was like, can we please go for a little drive?
Car ride.
So we did. And we got to this place where it was very dark. And I didn't expect, like, I was under the impression that you look up at the sky and it's all colors. And that's not how it is. At least not, here. Maybe like more up north it would be. But it was like these white wispies in the sky. And I was like...
I'm so mad because when you showed me the picture, I was like, I'm getting up and going to see this outside. And I saw the white wisps but I didn't take a picture.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I take a picture. So the trick is your camera does all the work.
Your eyes can't.
Your eyes can't perceive it, but your camera does all the work, and it does, it does a little long exposure, and then you see all the pretty colors. And I got some really cool pictures.
Oh, so pretty. Yeah.
I've been meaning to post them on Instagram, so I'm gonna do that soon.
We went out the next night,
and it wasn't as good.
It was very clear, though.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, very clear, and we saw a lot of really cool star formations and Jupiter.
We saw the Pleiades.
We did see the. Yes, that's right. We saw the Pleiades, and Jupiter was very prominent.
Very.
Yeah.
And we're all on some random side road. There was like a group of us. We're on, and
my kids came.
Yeah.
One of them passed out in the back seat.
I'm like taking long exposure pictures with my camera, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's the Pleiades right there. Look, everybody. And then like Jupiter is kind of
so
off.
Cool. Yeah.
It was very nice. I want to do more of that.
Yeah, just hit the road, go to the back roads where there's hardly any light pollution, and the mountains always look so pretty when there's a full moon too.
Yeah. We had a very special birthday celebration.
It was very fun.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about those carrots.
I made so much food, and we had some of our friends come,
and there was a cute little cake.
I made a ghost cake. It almost fell apart, and I cried. It was fine though. It tasted good.
So good.
What else?
I
wanted to do something experiential. Like, is that the word? Is that a word?
Yep.
Experiential, because I really liked what you had planned for my birthday. And I wanted to do something like that, an experience, not just, here's a gift I bought you. Happy
Even though
birthday.
you did give me a really good gift, it's William Moore's Terrible Truth, and it's amazing, and I fucking love it.
That was fun. That was a whole thing too.
Yeah.
But I don't know my way around as, like, I knew I couldn't, like, get all the cool spots to bring you around. So I was like, what else can I do that is a fun experience? And that was making a bunch of food and feeding people and just having a fun gathering.
I love food. I love parties. Like, I love like dinner parties.
Yeah.
It is my favorite thing. The only thing that I want in the whole entire world before I shuffle off this mortal coil is to have a whodunit murder mystery birthday. Or I don't even care if it's for my birthday. I just want it on a Wednesday. I don't fucking care. I want to do it so bad.
Murder mystery party.
Yeah. We eat. It's like Clue. Fucking hilarious. Please. Yes. I need it so bad.
We'll do it.
I know. We were going to try to do it for my birthday 2 years ago, and then we were going to do it for your birthday this year. But I don't want it to be a birthday anymore. I just want it.
Yeah.
I don't care when. I don't care why. I don't care how. I don't care if I have to organize it, but I would rather not.
I wanted to make this a surprise party, but I had to ask you some very specific questions. Yeah. So I was like, I can't, because she'll just figure it out.
Well, it's just like when you were trying to surprise me for when you were flying here.
When I came here the first time,
yeah. And there's like, because I fucking knew. Like, I knew there was something up with you.
The second that I was like,
I have something to tell you.
I have to tell you something. And you were like, you're coming.
Yeah. Because my psychic senses are like, I don't know if it's the autism or like the pattern recognition.
It's both.
Or because like my body legitimately picks up on that like difference of energy. Yeah.
Like, your psychic senses are heightened by your ADHD.
Yeah.
So we did that, and it was
so
wonderful.
Fun. So fun. You made the cutest apple cider.
That was because of Momo.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
She had sent this like little recipe. It was like a reel, and the person was like, "Oh, just make this. You make apple cider, or you buy some, and then you make these little shrunken apple heads."
It looks like little grannies.
Yeah, I think they were supposed to look like skulls, but they just look like shriveled up little granny faces. Yeah. It was so cute. So I did that. It was very fun.
Yeah, I saved one because I'm going to give it to one of my deities, one of the deities I work with.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that was a good time. That was a really good time.
We had a fun spooky phone when we could figure out what the tech issues were.
Yep.
That was weird because it was just really weird.
It was chaos.
Yeah. My kid made me a little Mothman. I don't know if you can see properly.
There. Oh, it's so cute.
Got little wings.
I love it. So I didn't get to see it like up close. Oh my goodness.
Didn't they do a good job?
Yeah. The detail.
I know.
Boop. What else?
The last weekend we had the Nightshade Coven BC Hunter's Moon Market. Yep. And everybody was fantastic, from the patrons,
amazing
volunteers, the vendors. Everybody was so incredible. It was such a fun experience, and I can't wait to do it again. Yeah, I'm very excited. The Heritage Hall was super fun.
Mm-hmm. We got to do a little spooky phone there.
Yeah, we did. We freaked out the security guard.
I was thinking about that.
He was so sweet.
I was thinking about because we were off to the side and he was kind of by the door, and I was like, he either thinks we're insane or he's like
digs it.
I don't know, but it was fun. It was fun, and we recorded a little video of that. It's up on our Patreon.
Ryan accidentally fell in love with a new friend, a new baby doll. And she is so cute.
Yeah. You adopted Lucky Baby Doll, a cousin.
Yep.
They even have that same style. Like, you could tell they were made it's the same era that they were made.
Just a little bigger. And
now I get to make clothes.
She also needs a stitch too. I was wondering if you could
I can
ask
do
her.
That.
Yeah. I should bring her over for you. Yeah.
I can do that. Yeah. If she says yes.
She might not want it, but I think asking would be good. She's got cute eyes. That's like as soon as her eyes like locked on mine, they're like a golden. They're gold. It's so pretty.
It's like how they would describe like wolf eyes. It's like that amber and brown and
yeah.
Beautiful.
Beauty. And now we are in I think you're all caught up now. Yeah, we're into
basically
Scorpio season. Hang on to your cryptides.
Yeah.
Because it's the season of death. So let things go, please. Just let it go. And if you have any cardinal placements, the Pluto going into Aquarius is going to help. So just let it go. And my gosh, how long have we been recording for?
Almost 2 hours. So
we knew this was going to be close.
We did.
Yeah.
If you have stuck with us this long, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you so much. But yeah, So let's talk a little bit about our intentions for the pod moving forward.
Okay, yeah.
And then
then
there's some
wrap it
other
up.
things we want to. Okay.
Bookend
so
it.
Obviously, video. We are incorporating some video now.
Not just our disembodied voices
Mhm.
anymore.
We're working on a new intro for the pod.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about that. Yep.
We want to incorporate, obviously we want to make the visual more interesting. We want to incorporate, so we can, if we have pictures to show you now, we're going to show them. If we have like just visuals that will help tell our stories, they're going to be here.
If we want to pull some cards, if we're feeling like super tapped in and like
yeah. So we want to make the visual aspect interesting for you, not just, I mean, interesting enough just looking at our sweet faces.
Yeah, we're super interesting looking, but
we want to add in fun stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to work on that. You're going to grow with us because we are learning as we go.
Mhm.
That's how we operate.
By experiential means.
Yes.
And honestly, we have had a really reflective, I would say, year. I would say this whole year has been very eye-opening in how we want to move forward as global citizens and on community levels and collective levels.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to talk about how you broached the subject and how honest activism came up?
Yeah, okay. And then I'll circle back to this.
Oh, you don't have to. Sorry, I thought that was the segue.
No, it's okay.
Go ahead.
I just had a couple more things for my intentions with the pod. I want us to do interviews with people.
We already have somebody booked.
We have somebody booked, somebody very special.
Very special, yeah.
But I want to do that. I want to add that in, and I want to add not just big names and flashy.
No.
I want our friends and people within the communities, and just have.
We want to introduce you to more things that are happening, like
yeah, and have conversations with people.
Yeah,
because we have great conversations, and we have great conversations with people
others,
around us.
We often say, "Fuck, I wish this was recording," because sometimes when we are in that stream of consciousness, like that's we're tapped in, and it's important to make sure that we are exploring the avenues that create those moments. And it happens a lot with you and me, but it also happens with our friends and close community members and things like that. So yeah
so not just like here in this setting, but also out in the world. We're gonna experiment with that. I'm really excited to do that and have these conversations and just interesting connections and moments. And lastly, my personal intention is with the way some of like these things are changing, and us experimenting, my relationship to like editing and stuff is going to change a little bit, because I got that flavor of neurodivergence that includes heavy perfectionism towards myself and the things that I do. And I'm trying to work through that and let go of that a little bit. And it doesn't mean we're gonna do our best and we're gonna make good stuff. We're gonna make a good podcast, but I'm gonna ease up on editing the shit out of things and spending so many hours worrying over every little and every little audio glitch or what have you. And I'm going to focus more on having good conversation and doing good research and telling good and weird and paranormal and witchy stories. So that's how things are going to change for me a bit. And it's going to be less like, this is going to just go up as it is. I'm not going to sit there and cut it and edit out every single because that's what I was doing.
I know.
And sometimes
I know, because I would listen and I'd be like, there's 25 minutes of me going that's missing.
Yeah. So I was spending sometimes like 12 to 14 hours on editing.
Yeah.
And it was
I would not
stressful.
talk to her for 6 hours at a time, and I'd only like talk to you at like the very end of your night, and you can just tell like you were fried a lot of the time, and it was hard because I know like it's so important to you to produce an engaging and attractive podcast.
Yeah.
You know, like this takes time. This takes energy.
Yeah.
You know, it takes trial and error, and those types of things take time. And I think giving you the ability to relax in this setting is going to be such a gift of time.
Yeah.
Like, just like you said, to more research, better stories, more engaging. Like, you were always a wonderful writer. So I can only imagine when you just upload and then like you can literally start on episode 2, like as soon as this gets uploaded.
Yeah.
And that's a huge shift.
Yeah. Because I was pushing myself into burnout. Like that's having the space, having the like step back from the summer break.
Yes.
Allowed me to reflect a lot on a lot of different things. And I realized that my perfectionism was pushing me into burnout with the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want that to happen because I really enjoy doing the podcast. It's very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And having these conversations with you and doing this is extremely important to me. And I was like, you're sabotaging yourself. You know, with your perfectionism.
Yeah.
And I had to take a step back and be like, you know what? Who cares if there's ums? Who cares if there's like the audio sounds a little weird? You need to just let it be what it is.
It was garbage day and a plane flew by. And,
yeah.
And
so that might pick up.
And I didn't see your like eye twitch or anything.
No.
It was,
No. I did work hard on getting this set up nicely
so that it's, you know, as soundproofed as it can be and as organized as it can be.
Yeah. And then the way I look at it is I've set the sandbox.
Mm-hmm.
Sandbox is set up and we can play.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, I realized that I was looking up to these like big production podcasts that have a team of people.
Yeah.
And I was trying to do the work of a team of people in like, you know, and that was very unhealthy. And it was unrealistic. And I'm going to show up and we're going to have fun.
Yeah.
And we're going to have good conversation.
Yeah.
And talk about weird shit and tell stories. And that's what we're going to do. It's going to be good.
Doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. But we also had time to reflect on other things about the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So you will probably notice that the land acknowledgement has been removed from the intro.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a very conscious decision because of a conversation that Luna wanted to have with me about the performative aspect of land acknowledgements, specifically because of Candace of Relentless Indigenous Women's post about how like white people doing land acknowledgements is like peak performance.
Yeah.
and we're not doing it right even. So it is important to listen. I just recently I recently purchased this from by Tooth and Claw, and it's solidarity is rooted in listening. And it was perfect. And that's a big part of being a good accomplice. Like, there is a good, I say good, but it's such a binary binary word. It's neither good nor bad, but being an accomplice to a group of systemically affected individuals, oppressed people, we have to always listen, and we have to be able to, like, not just pivot, but integrate that information.
Yeah.
And figure out
change how we're showing up.
Yeah. So we had a great conversation about that, because in the past, I have spent a lot of time in creating my own land acknowledgement, because it is so important to me as a person who is animistic and who is involved in folk magic in relation to land veneration. It's okay. I think it's fine. Do you want to bring them out?
Yeah. Sorry.
So
is that you causing that? Come here. Sorry, continue.
I just want to wait till you're done rolling. And so that was something that was really important to me as a writer as well, was figuring out how I was appropriately respecting the land that I was on, how to signal that I would like to be an accomplice to Indigenous nations and communities. And that, unfortunately, is where it ended. I do amplify everything that I hold important, and this people and the places and the things that are really important in those acknowledgement spaces and within the direct community. But my body has been missing from a lot of that. And that's, like, with a land acknowledgement, it's important to know whose stolen land you're on.
Yeah.
As a person who is a settler, an uninvited guest, however you want to put it, that acknowledgement is important, but that's not where it ends. And that's where you wanted to, figure out how we were going to do this and move forward. And that's where I always come up with, like, phrases. Honest activism. That is where honest activism comes from. And if you want to read the blurb.
So
in my article, my blog post for Truth and Reconciliation Day, this is a small portion of that.
I'm just trying to see where we are. So when I read Candace, Relentless Indigenous Woman's post, and her views on land acknowledgements, and how a lot of herself, and from her opinion, and a lot of other Indigenous people's opinions, they don't really feel that land acknowledgements are appropriate. And I sat with this information and hearing things from her perspective, one which many others agreed with, our land acknowledgements, though earnest, now felt hollow and performative, especially with how the editing process works.
Yeah.
And how
it just felt like plug, play.
Yeah. And I really wasn't comfortable with that. And being
it's
that
not something that we can check off a list.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also because I was moving and now I'm residing in a different land, and I am learning about the rightful
yeah.
stewards of this land and who was here first, who came here before it was colonized. We were having conversations about changing how to change things anyways. Like it was gonna have to change. So I feel like everything just kind of lined up.
It did. And if it didn't, we wouldn't be growing and
exactly
as people and as Gizmo agrees. We wouldn't be growing as people and growing within community. And so that's, I think it's uncomfortable and it's hard. And that's where the transparency of being honest with ourselves and everybody is where it's,
so we're going to do things differently when it comes to the podcast and, other things that we do. And we're not sure how honest activism is going to unfold for us, but to be in the right relationship with Indigenous communities and land and spirit, we must be honest about the process and the place we are within it. And so with these things in mind and heart, we will continue to work towards dismantling and decolonizing our work and our lives and how we show up in these spaces. And it's going to be messy sometimes.
Yep. And it's okay if we get some things wrong and are corrected. We're not above being called in. Yeah. I did want to highlight something that you and I are going to be doing. So the East Van Culture Crawl is happening November 14th to the 19th. And Luna and I are going to be at She-Wolf Apothecary's studio.
Yeah.
And we're going to be running the raffle for Palestinian relief. And it's also going to the East Side Indigenous women's community. So Kara is helping us create some chime candles, and we are going to create a sigil that you can use in spiritual activism, because spiritual activism is important.
Yeah.
But it also
okay, bye.
It also needs to be coupled with, your body, your mind, and those things. So we're very excited to be welcomed into that space, to be able to hold space to collect funds for both of those really important communities and resources. So that's we're going to be there November 14th and 15th.
Yeah. And we will leave links in the show notes for the witch walk and the information for all of that.
I believe it is, I think I'm wrong, 14th to the 17th. Yeah. And it is free. You just have to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. The witch walk.
And so if you stop by our table
and you donate more than $5, you get
a candle and a sigil.
A candle and a sigil, yeah.
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 While we have them. So
yes, I think I asked Kara to do 80.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay. So
with that, I love you so much.
I love you too so much.
We didn't get the closet sillies today. That's for another day.
Yeah. They'll be different now. They'll be studio sillies.
Yeah. Chair sillies. I started feeling like, how I get like a little antsy.
Yeah.
I got a little antsy. My feet are doing that like rubby thing, and I started picking my nails.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to have a notepad.
I was ready to do this and like pull it out. I brought pens and my Sharpie just in case. And I still didn't utilize the tools that I brought for myself because I also like to sabotage.
Okay, well, it's really good to be back in this space.
Back.
And we have some fun ideas 4 episodes planned, like
Yeah.
in the works.
Episodes, but also we have things always happening in the Patreon. We have not stopped the Patreon.
No.
We took a small 1-month break to get Luna moved here, and then that was it.
Yeah, there is so much cool stuff in there.
There's lots and lots of stuff. We have all of the haunting fixations.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a quick minute. I know, like, geez, but so you came up with this idea, and it's a play on words for hyperfixation because we're both neurodivergent and we get hyperfixated on things all the time. And you came up with haunting fixations.
Yeah.
So this is something that we're creating now for free members of our Patreon.
Yeah.
It will always be free.
Always, and there's always going to be good stuff. Like, for October's, I added all of my favorite X-Files episodes. Ooh. And they all have like little blood, blood droplets for how I've designated them.
So you made these wonderful pages for us.
Thanks.
And we just fill them up with anything we want. What podcasts we're enjoying, what movies, TV,
books, people,
witchcraft, books, just anything that we are currently hyperfixated on at that month.
Sometimes I'll just draw in the margins of it, and as I'm watching TV, if I'm not actually working, just like you did.
I have to do mine for October.
I have 2 things ready for October, but that's because I forgot. I didn't forget. September was very busy. Yeah. So I'm going to do 2 for...
I didn't get mine done for September, so I'm going to do a big one for October. Yeah. Because September was busy, and then we had the Nightshade Coven market, and I just had no spoons to do anything else.
One of my kids came with me to do the All Hallows Eve market.
Oh my God, that was the cutest thing ever.
He was so cute.
And pulling cards for people.
He did.
He looked like he was straight out of The Hobbit.
He did. Yeah, he is the most fashionable person on the face of the planet. And all he wanted was to be paid in the item that we were sharing a section with, the Wild Sage. He's a fantastic creator. He makes these really wonderful hats. Yeah. And that's all he wanted. So cute. Yeah. Anyways, so haunting fixations. Every month we have something really fun. And it's always going to be there, and we can't wait to keep going. I love wholesome haunts so much.
I know.
Yeah.
So please check out our Patreon. That will also be in the show notes. There's a ton of stuff on there, free stuff and paid stuff. So you just do whatever your heart desires. And
if you want to just check out what the Patreon tiers are like, then you can become friends of the pod, and you get a sample every month of a different higher paid tier. Yeah. So it might be an episode that's released early for the podcast. It might be a ritual. It might be you can have a Spirit Box 101 invite.
Ryan's Roundtable,
which are always so fucking juicy. Yeah. I feel like we should just do an episode just of him as a roundtable episode. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get a little taste, and it helps support the pod.
Yes. Yeah.
Because our Patreon, everything with our Patreon goes back into Frightfully Delightful. Yep. And just making it better and better and better.
Where's our...
Oh, it's out there. I forgot.
Is it? It's okay.
We'll show it next time.
We'll show it next time. That's...
All right.
Yeah. Okay, well, with that, thank you so much for being here, for listening to our disembodied voices, and for perceiving our corporeal beings.
We're here.
Ooh.
So good.
Yes. So thank you so much.
Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.